Gobert, 88 overall? 88 overall for Rudy Gobert? Has anybody ever heard of this dude? Rudy Gobert, 88 overall?
Struggling? You want to see my residuals?
I'd rather hit you with reality.
Yo! Yo!
Stop! He's already dead.
Oh man, I'm gonna have so much fun with this episode tonight, bro. But before I get started, first of all, I'm gonna be getting a new mic tomorrow, so I'll be recording a lot more videos with a better quality mic. Right now, I'm using my gaming headset, and I just recently upgraded my laptop. I got a new MacBook, so I'm very excited to see. I'm very excited to see the new mic, and I hope y'all are excited as well. You guys get to hear a actual quality mic instead of like the inconsistent qualities of my gaming headset. So yeah, look forward to that. It's definitely going to be fun. Again, I'm having a blast. And then for the future, once we get into off season, once we're done with the finals, I'll be making off season videos for sure. But I'll be also posting non-basketball related content like gaming videos. I currently have one that I want to post about the Joker, MK11. That was like old footage from like I think 2020, and I finished all the footage and I decided to upload it. So that'll be scheduled for July 1st of 2025. So be on the lookout for that. But yeah. Oh my goodness. What a major freaking beatdown, man. Season is over for the Oakland. No, their season's still going. It would have been last year. But season is over once again for the Minnesota T-Wolves. They got outed in the conference finals in a game 5. And they got blown out in the same fashion that they did last year. So what's my takeaway? First of all, Anthony Edwards has to get back to the drawing board. But I'm gonna dive more into the struggles of Ant-Man and how he's starting to enter conversations of him being overrated. Like, I know he's 23, but I don't want to hear it. People gave this guy they already gave this guy the keys to being the quote unquote best player in the league when he really hasn't achieved much. You know what I'm saying? But I'll dive more into it. And also, can we dead all the Michael Jordan comparisons too? Because it's just like I never even liked it when they did it with Kawhi Leonard, and Kawhi is a Finals MVP, 2-time Finals MVP in fact, and the Defensive Player of the Year. I didn't even like it when they did it then. But I digress. I'll get more into that. OKC, I have been banging on this table that I have in my room. As much as, I love talking trash to like one of my friends who was a Thunder fan, I always knew that OKC was a special team. And that this OKC team was going to be, even before the playoffs started, I got into a heated spat with one of the guys I used to call my friends. I kept on telling him, bro, this OKC team is legit. But he's saying, oh, no, well, that has to face LeBron and Luka, and they're unbeatable, this, that, and the other. I'm just like, no. OKC plays like a unit and a team. They play like a team. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is an MVP, and he's one of the faces of the league. And I'm going to get to the face of the league part, and I may make a video during the offseason about who I think the faces of the league are. But I digress. Ant literally showed why you cannot crown people way too early when they haven't done anything. Charles Barkley said it best on Inside the NBA. You cannot just simply crown people based on, oh, he got aura, he got swagger, he got a nice game, and yada yada yada. You gotta take it. And right now, SGA, Joker, Giannis, and yes, and I'm gonna lose a lot of friends with this one, but Jason Tatum, and then Luka Doncic, they all took that mantle as faces of the league. And Tatum's the only American player on there, man. SGA Canadian, and then Jokic the Serbian, Luka the Slovenian, and Giannis the Greek Freak. Tatum's the only American player that I can really say that he is the face of the league. And yes, even with his Achilles injury, that will hold him out all in next season. But SGA is showing why he's the MVP. And if we're just going by a series analysis, because I'm supposed to recap the series, the Thunder, once they applied pressure on Ant Edwards, and I saw this from the start of game one, once they started blitzing him, he had nowhere to go. He had nowhere to operate. He couldn't get to his spots. And it looked like as the series went on, outside of that game three was more of an outlier because that was more so OKC not showing up. You know what I'm saying? But even with that, the OKC defense was just swarming him and pressuring him. You know what I mean? And Ant had no response. He doesn't have any. Oh man, I did not like Ant's body language at all in this game. Even when they were making their run, Ant still looked like he was defeated as can be. So I think, and I actually read a post from Dreamers Pro, and yeah, a lot of his takes can be, full of what, but he actually has he's been having pretty solid takes about other teams recently when he's not slandering my Lakers. Hey, Dreamers Pro, if you're watching this, stay off my Lakers, man. But no, he actually said something that's very interesting. I'm wondering what y'all think about this. Let me know in the comments. Dreamers Pro said a day ago, I quote, "What is clear is that SGA is on another level above Anthony Edwards. Shai Gilgeous is scoring against elite defenders while Ant-Man is not. SGA is playing under control at his own speed, and Ant-Man looks rushed on everything. SGA is much better." And then there's a guy in the comment section of that specific post from Dreamers Pro where he says it's actually a mentality difference. One guy is believing the hype, and the other guy is focused on the ultimate outcome. And that is actually pinpoint. That is very spot on. I usually don't agree with Dreamers Pro and some of his followers on everything, but they're absolutely right on the money. I think Ant, when he beat Jokic in the Nuggets last year, it like all the hype and the talk about him being the next Michael Jordan and all that other stuff, you could tell it was getting to his head, and then it even got to his head a lot more. Look, in the first round, I did say in my series recap video against the Lakers that I didn't have a problem with Ant trash talking us in general because a lot of us disrespected the Wolves. I had us winning that series in 5. Obviously, I was wrong about that, and I said, you know what, Ant earned his right to trash talk till the victor goes to spoil. I didn't really have a problem with that, but the thing is that Ant was taking a victory lap over around Crypto.com arena like he won the championship, and then obviously, at least he owned up to the fact that he didn't beat Steph, because if Steph played against the Wolves in the second round, chances are the Wolves might be in trouble. They might have been in trouble. I think the Wolves will have won that series anyway, but the Warriors would have definitely given them some absolute, they would have given them absolute hell. But SGA was laser focused the entire playoffs. And the one thing I do like about this Oklahoma City Thunder team, bro, is that they do not get rattled. Did y'all see when I made episode 1 of the series recap of season 3? That was a month ago. They came back down 29 in Memphis, Tennessee. 29, bro. Luke Kennard hits a 3 to end the half to put him up 77-51. But Chet Holmgren gets the ball. He starts hitting threes. Scottie Pippen Jr. hits an offensive foul. I'm not going to go through that series. You guys can watch that video. But you guys can tell once Chet Holmgren started hitting those threes, it just felt like the whole momentum shifted in OKC's favor, and now the pressure was really starting to ramp up on a team like them on the Memphis Grizzlies, right? So it's the same thing here. When I didn't watch Game 4 because I was working, I didn't watch Game 3 because I was working, and Stream East was being a little B word. I'm trying to curse a lot less, so that's why I'm trying to restrain myself from cursing. But from what I've heard, Ant got blitzed the whole time. Lou Dort put him in an absolute box. Randall got put in the box by the big guys, by J-Dub. And here's something, bro. Like, I think the Countdown crew was talking about it. I think it was Stephen A. that brought it up. Julius was shot 2 and 9 when guarded by J-Dub. I don't know his percentages when being guarded by Chet or Hartenstein. Obviously, Hartenstein didn't guard Randall the whole series because he was busy defending Rudy Gobert, which that Rudy Gobert, I'll get to him in a minute because I want to unleash on him. Pause. But that was the series right there. Game 4 was the series. Ant did not play well. Yes, he got double teamed, but I think the thing is, and I've told a lot of people on Instagram and on YouTube, I've been responding to a lot of comments where I said, if Ant wants to take that next step and if he wants to be as great as people prop him up to be, and I believe he has the potential to be an all-time great in this league, but if Ant wants to get to that next level, he has to find ways to score in spite of that. I think throughout this series, yes, the Thunder played great off-ball defense when Ant couldn't get the ball and such. He was trying to play off ball, but the Thunder did a great job denying him. But there were times where Ant just simply did not want the basketball because of the defense they were playing on him. And if Ant wants to be that guy, which I believe he is, he has to find ways to work around a double team or swarming defense. Find a ways to get your shot off the ball. Because I think every time he tries to go to the ball, he's trying to go straight to the ball. But Shai Gilgeous, Caruso, Kaysen Wallace, and Lou Dort, they're all intercepting the passes. They're all getting their hands into the passing lanes. But because and then Randall, man, there were a lot of times in that game and from what I've heard, and I watched some of the highlights, Randall tries to set a screen for Ant, but Ant ends up getting blitzed, and Julius really doesn't move around anywhere. And I think Ant needs to figure out ways to be better off the ball. Because if Ant doesn't get that figured out, it's going to be the same thing next year. You know what I'm saying? So, but going back to Oklahoma City, I was wrong when I talked about it I think it was in my Knicks Celtics video, where I said the Oklahoma City has chinks in their armor, and I still believe that. I still believe every team has chinks in their armor. But the way they play like a well-oiled machine. They play like a fantastic unit. I don't want to say they're unbeatable, but this team is hard to stop, bro. Because you can throw many different ways at them, but the thing is, you want to know what Oklahoma City does? They counter you with their defense. Because when they counter whatever defensive scheme you want to use with their defense, it's quite impossible. You feel me? Like, it's quite impossible to make adjustments on the OKC Thunder when the Thunder are just doing everything they can to give the best player on the court hell offensively. I mean, on defense. Right, they gave Ja Morant a lot of fits. They gave Nikola Jokic and Jamal Murray a lot of fits. Which, by the way, they somehow put up a better fight than Ant Edwards and the Wolves. And they were supposed, and Ant Edwards and the Wolves were supposed to be evenly matched, at least on paper, because they have guys that could ball. They have athletic guys and yada yada yada. They have a rim protector that could match up with Hartenstein. But yeah, I'll admit, I picked Minnesota to win the series, but that's because I wasn't really disrespecting the OKC Thunder. I just thought Ant and the Wolves, I thought it was their time. But foolish of me, that was me disrespecting the OKC Thunder, I guess. So I'm sorry to every OKC fan that's watching this video. I apologize. If you guys win the finals, you deserve it. With the slander that y'all been getting all year, especially from Shannon Sharp, who I used to be a fan of, and now I'm not anymore, where he just said, oh yeah, OKC, UFC, KFC, Lakers in 5, and then Lou Dort, he pretty much said Lou Dort, like, he ain't all that. He pretty much said Lou Dort ain't all that, even though he's shown to be a great off-ball defender. He pressures the ball. Like, he's probably one of the best at pressuring the ball. And Shannon didn't even give him his respect. So I have a lot of respect for Lou Dort. I have a lot of respect for Alex Caruso, which LA still loves you, brother. I would love to have you back here. But, he found a new home that's not LA and OKC. So salute to Caruso, man. And Mark Daigneault earned my respect. So, I mean, I've always respected Daigneault, but Mark really, really earned it this year. And I think this Thunder team really deserves all our respect, because with the slander they've been getting from, the big media outlets, because they thought the Lakers were just going to cakewalk through the West. A lot, like one of the dudes I used to be friends with, he thought the Lakers were going to cakewalk through the West. You know what I'm saying? But I've always known OKC is a legit team. I just thought they've had a lot of chinks in their armor, and I thought, because they've shown a lot of chinks in their armor against the Denver Nuggets, I thought the Minnesota T-Wolves can capitalize on it, but Minnesota couldn't because they had a lot of chinks in their armor themselves. So, I don't know, bro. I am very sorry to every Thunder fan that's watching this video. I completely disrespected y'all, and if you guys win the finals, or when you win the finals, if you want me to say that, you guys deserve it. Because look at what this OKC team had to go through the last 13 years ever since they last made the finals. They blew a 3. They fell short every conference finals they've been in. They had to face the Spurs. They had to face the Warriors. They blew a 3-1 lead against the Warriors. Kevin Durant left Russ by himself. Russ went 3 straight seasons averaging a triple-double. Great thing for OKC fans. They witnessed that, but they got out in the first round 3 straight years. And then the Thunder just pretty much sucked after that. Well, they actually had one season where they actually were good with Chris Paul. They got out in the first round by, ironically, Russell Westbrook and James Harden and the Rockets. And then you fast forward 2021 to 22, they were just absolutely bad. They got blown out in Memphis by like 600 points in like December of I think it was 2021, I believe. They struggled to make the playoffs. They were the number 1 seed in the West. Shannon even called them the weakest number 1 seed, even though they actually put up a fight, even though OKC is a young team. So how can you really be a weak number 1 seed when your team is considerably young? I don't know. I guess they don't have LeBron James. That's why. But yeah. And then the disrespect they got this year, and now they are 4 wins away from winning a title and bringing a title to Oklahoma City, something that Kevin Durant, nor Russell Westbrook, nor Paul George could not do. And you know what? OKC, it's their title to win. And I believe this might be their year. Shout out to the Thunder fans who've been there from the ups and downs and all that other stuff, man. But on the other side, if you're Minnesota, you have to go back to the drawing board. Gobert, trash. Randall, he's up and down. Naz Reid, he's good. Conley, he's old. A lot of questions need to be answered this offseason, man. So, and then Ant Edwards. Ant is entering dangerous conversations that Tyrese Halliburton found himself in. Now, perhaps if we have an overrated poll and they put Anthony as an overrated player, it might actually motivate him to play better, just like with Tyrese right now. But I think this is a maturing phase for Anthony Edwards. I hope he does realize that, yes, he's young. He trash talks and all that other stuff. But sometimes when you grow as a player, you have to realize there's a time and place for everything. I think, and I was talking about it with my mom at dinner, that, yeah, Tyrese and Ant may be both front runners, but I think the difference between Ant and Tyrese, and you can say Jalen Brunson as well. Jalen Brunson never front runs, but for the sake of this discussion, they pick and choose when to celebrate, when to pump their chest. They pick and choose and usually they pick the right times to do that. Luka to an extent too, even though some of y'all may say he's a front runner himself, right? But Ant, he just like flexing, he's doing celebrations. He's just pointing at fans like he did in Denver last year, saying, "Oh yeah, I'm the effing man," and pounding his chest and yelling, "Yeah," and all that other stuff. While Tyrese and Jalen, they're as cool and calm as ever. Yes, I've seen Tyrese front run before, but keep in mind he does it at key points in the game where he feels like his team can win. Yes, even when they were up 20, Tyrese is pointing at his jersey, but it was a time where the Pacers had a lot of momentum. They just got caught with their pants down in Game 3. They just relaxed, and Tyrese held himself accountable. I think the thing about it, and y'all saw it with the Johnny Cage intro with Spawn, I think the difference is that in Game 3, when Tyrese and the Pacers blew that 20-plus point lead. They blew that 20-point lead against New York. Tyrese held himself accountable. He said that, we stopped playing defense and we stopped playing good basketball, and that's on me. Jalen Brunson, same thing. That even when he has games where he's passable, he says, look, I got to be better. And after game 4, he said, oh, I didn't feel like I struggled. I didn't get enough shots to say that I struggled. I'm just like, my dog, are you tone deaf? You played bad. He played bad. And we shouldn't be making excuses for him. He should not get any pass at all, because if you're going to give him the title of the best player in the league, the face of the league, you have to lay the hammer on him when he loses, period. Because let this be someone like Jason Tatum. And I have another comment that I want to read to y'all. Because they made this point about Jason Tatum, and I hate the Celtics, but Jason Tatum deserves to be the face of the league over Ant. I'm sorry. And Tatum has a lot of accolades outside the fact he's a champion. He's an all-NBA player. He's made an all-rookie first team. I know Ant did the same thing too. And Tatum's a multi-all-star. But here's the thing. In year 5, Anthony Edwards is in year 5. He just finished it up. He's in his second conference finals. In year 5, Tatum played in his third conference finals, and they won, and he was the MVP. If Tatum had been playing like Ant, he would have been crucified. And that's 100%. And here's the thing I don't understand. When Ant did what he did last year, yes, it was impressive, but it wasn't that special, because I saw Jason Tatum do the same thing as well, but he didn't get this type of praise. All he got were just like, oh, what if, Chris Middleton was playing? What if Jimmy Butler or way off Jimmy hit the shot? Or what if, Kyrie had James Harden, or Kyrie and KD had James Harden? What if, they had Kyrie, James, and KD all in their prime, playing like it was 2015 all over again, instead of giving, Tatum the credit? But when Ant did it, oh my gosh, everyone was twerking it up for him. Everyone was calling him Michael Jordan. I'm just like, come on, bro. That is just corny. And I'm not even trying to hate on Anthony Edwards. It sounds like I am. But really, it's just like, guys, be fair. You cannot call him Michael Jordan one night, and the moment he has a bad game, oh my gosh, he gets every pass in the world. Meanwhile, let that be Jason Tatum. You guys would be calling him an overrated choker. And trust me, I was one of those people that called Jason Tatum an overrated choker. But I gave it up, and I decided not to call him that anymore when I saw what he did last season. Yes, Jaylen Brown won the Finals MVP, but Tatum, I watched that whole playoff run by the Celtics. Tatum was their best player. Jalen was their second best player. And yes, Jalen deserved it. But Tatum was their clear-cut best player. I mean, yeah, Tatum was their clear-cut best player. Yeah. But I don't know, bro. This is why you cannot crown dudes too early. Especially when we're acting like Ant did something special. He didn't. He did great last postseason. He did great this postseason. But it wasn't really a special run. It was a type of run that I've seen before, and they didn't get this type of overt praise. Again, I didn't approve the Baby Jordan comparisons when they did to Kawhi Leonard, and that's saying a lot. So, Ant, stay humble. Wolves, stay humble. And like Charles Barkley said, you got to earn that title as best player in the league. You got to earn that title. And SGA, Jokic, Giannis, Jason Tatum, and Luka, they all earned it. Ant has not. And I'm sorry for all the Ant lovers out there. Everyone's rooting for Ant. Look, I want Ant to be great, man. I want Ant to be great. And I still believe that he has the potential to become an all-time great in this league. But unfortunately, he looked anything but. He just looked like an average dude out there, outside of Game 3 and 2. So I'm sorry, but that's the God's truth about this series. And games 4 and 5 was a chance for Ant to show that he's an MVP caliber player, and he failed to show up. But hopefully he does well next season. Meanwhile, for SGA and the Thunder, they deserve this. They deserve every moment of it. And if or when they do win the championship, They deserve it. And this OKC team deserves everyone's respect. So those are my thoughts about it. What are my thoughts about the Knicks Pacers series? I wanted to do an episode about it last night, but I decided not to. I'm gonna wait until that series is over because I've done enough emergency episodes. But the Knicks are obviously they're in trouble. They're down 3-1. They blew golden opportunities in Game 4. And the thing is, both the Pacers and the Knicks played sloppy basketball, but the difference is Indiana capitalized on New York's mistakes, while New York couldn't really capitalize on Indiana's wrongdoings. That's the difference in the game and the series, is that yes, the Pacers caught the Knicks with their pants down, sure. But at the same time, I cannot tell a lie. The Pacers just outworked them. The Pacers outplayed them. The Pacers outcoached them. And that's and I think Chris Finch is going to be on a hot seat too, because two consecutive Western Conference Finals appearances, and you only managed to win 2 games of the 5 games you play. You're 2 of 8 in your Conference Finals games. That is unacceptable. Thibodeau is on a hot seat, and that seat is only getting hotter. Because you ran your rotations into the ground. You finally insert DeLon Wright and Landry Shamet. And here's the insulting thing about this, bro. DeLon and Landry in Game 4 were the only positives in the plus-minus category. Landry and DeLon were the only positives on the team. Everyone else was a minus. That's insulting, bro. That is a big-time insult. But I digress, man. The Knicks are in trouble, and I think they can take this to a Game 6 in Indiana, but the thing is, Indiana has to win Game 6 because they're not going to win a Game 7, or at least I don't see them winning a Game 7 in New York. It could happen because they did last year, but the stakes and the feel and the pressure, the momentum is a lot different now than what it was back then. So I'm sorry. But the Knicks have been very disappointing this series. Jalen Brunson's doing everything he could offensively, but his defense, and shout out to All Pro Sports Talk for this. Jalen is getting beat on defense because of his size and because of the load he has to carry offensively. That it's not like Jalen's doing a bad job defensively. Jalen is just he's just small, and he really has nowhere to hide because for some reason Thibodeau is allowing his players to switch every ball screen instead of playing a zone which could at least hide Brunson on their worst offensive player, which really they don't really have a worse offensive player, I guess you could say. But because of the fact Jalen has nowhere to hide, because of the fact New York allows all these switches, it leaves him in a vulnerable spot. And Karl-Anthony Towns, outside of Game 3, he's been disappointing this series. And same with Bridges and OG Anunoby. So, I have no idea. But I will say this, and I'll wrap this video up. I'll let y'all go. The games have been close. And it all came down to a few bad mishaps in New York's favor. And honestly, they should have won that Game 1. Now they have to go back to New York City, which I believe they can salvage their season. And, they can salvage their season and make it a game. Get it to a Game 6 back in Indianapolis, where all the pressure on the world is going to be on the Indiana Pacers. But I just want to give a quick take on that. We should be in for a barn burner of a Game 5 tomorrow afternoon. So I may have a back-to-back series recap episode. I may not. Y'all may wait until Saturday or even Monday. But these playoffs have been interesting. And again, a lot of these teams that haven't made the finals in so long, or have not made the finals at all, they deserve it. They all deserve to be at this point. And whoever wins the championship 100% deserves it. They will get no slander from me, and they're going to earn the respect of a lot of NBA fans. So, but until then, that is the end of this video. I'm X. Deuces. I love y'all.